If you look back over time, all of your extreme events in California are caused by atmospheric rivers.
An atmospheric river is a corridor of water vapor that on Earth, they are formed in the tropics and they're carried in these narrow streams, thousands of miles, and then they eventually hit land. And when they hit land and they encounter mountain chains, you get large amounts of precipitation. It actually turns out it's kind of an escape valve of all this energy and water vapor that's formed in the tropics that is carried poleward.
On average, in California, you'll see 5 to 7 atmospheric rivers during the winter season.
30 to 50% of our water resources come from these atmospheric river storms.
Not all atmospheric rivers create floods, but if you look back historically to the floods in California, most of the floods that do occur are caused by atmospheric rivers.
The history of atmospheric river storms goes back about a couple thousand years. We have records of huge floods that occurred on average every 1 to 2 centuries, that we have strong evidence that those are formed from atmospheric rivers. The largest flood that we've had in California was in 1861, 1862, that winter. And although most people don't know about it, it inundated huge areas of the state. The Central Valley, 300 miles long, 20 or 50 miles wide, was under at least 10 feet of water. It was such a disaster that the state went bankrupt and thousands of lives were probably taken. We haven't had anything like that since.
We're in the town of Bodega Bay, installing what's called an atmospheric river observatory. It's a collection of high-tech instruments that are really designed to probe the atmosphere and figure out what's causing the extreme events. We use the instruments to tell us what's going on with the winds and the water vapor transport. And there'll be 4 of these installed along the California coast. Monitoring the conditions continuous year-round will also give us a hint on how climate is affecting weather in California.
We haven't had a major atmospheric river storm since 1861. We haven't had a major drought. I mean, the longest drought we've had has been 6 years. And yet we've seen that in the past, droughts can last for decades, if not over a century. It's important to understand our climate history and to understand where our water comes from and how we should really be preparing now for a drier world, but also a world that may have bigger floods.